This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
So here are the four pairs that I will be discussing this evening: the Euro Pound, the Aussie Kiwi, the Pound Swiss, and the Euro Swiss. So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. The first chart is the Euro Pound. If you recall, during yesterday's report, I mentioned the doji candle right here to have a tentative bearish bias against the high of that doji candle, and the next candle was a bearish candle to the downside. So I still like this short trade right now. Obviously, we would want an entry closer to that 88 figure because we're going to be placing our stop above the high of that doji candle. So right now, I would not recommend entering on the short side, but if you did enter on this trade recommendation, I would suggest holding until prices come down and hit that 87 figure, or maybe a little bit above it, maybe about 87.25 area for your limit. The next chart is the Aussie Kiwi, and in this case prices sort of blew through my analysis during yesterday's report. I mentioned the evening star pattern that did form, and let me zoom in here and show you exactly how I entered this trade. I entered I believe just above the 23 figure, and then I was stopped out at around the 23.40 area, and that's okay. Again, this was my analysis, this was the trade I was waiting for, and I also mentioned during yesterday's report that my confidence was very low, so I needed to have a very favorable risk to reward ratio, which I did have, but I was stopped out for the small loss, and I just move on and look for the next opportunity. Speaking of which is the Pound Swiss, and as I mentioned during yesterday's report, still have a tentative bullish bias against the double bottom here, and let me get this print here. That's the 71.55 area. So moving forward now, prices right now about 100 pips above there. So same story as the Euro Pound. I would not recommend entering right now. It represents a little bit too much risk, and again, this is borderline trying to pick a bottom here, which is something we really shouldn't do. But as long as the risk to reward is favorable, it's okay to give it a shot. So if you're in this trade on the long side, I would continue to stay in the trade, and again placing the stop just beneath the low of these wicks here for the double bottom, about the 71.50 area. So maybe a stop in the 71.25 area, and then I just let the trade run over the next few days. Next chart is the Euro Swiss, and not much has changed here. Still just waiting for prices to come down and test the longer term support line. We did have a bearish breakout a little bit here, but again, we would need these candles to close. So this is something a short term trader might take note of, waiting for this. This would be tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'd have to see where this candle closes. It could be a breakout to the downside, but I will update this development tomorrow. Again, my name is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX Forum. I want to go ahead and formally welcome everybody to the DailyFX Forum. And I want to explain a little bit about the forum and the wealth of information that you can obtain from the forum, and how to go about doing so, how to find the things you want. So I'm just going to dive right in right now, and this is DailyFX.com. This is usually how I navigate my way towards the forums. Obviously, it really depends on each individual how they access the forums, but this is how I go ahead and do it. I go DailyFX.com, go ahead and click on the forum on top, and this brings you to the DailyFX forum homepage, and this highlights the most recent posts with the subject. So if you see anything that you're interested in, you can obviously go ahead and click. What I like to do is click on the forums tab like this, and go ahead and view the forums in the normal, typical way that forums are set up. And here you go. There are a bunch of threads down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and go directly to the forum, the video you just viewed, where you viewed it. So let's go ahead. This is the DailyFX Instructor Tips Forum, identifying trades with DailyFX. That's me. And go ahead and click on the most recent post. So this is where you are right now viewing the video, although the video will be the video beneath this one that you're watching right now. So normally when I'm on the forums, and what I would do is just scroll up to the top. Certainly you can check out any of my previous videos, and especially if I did mention them in the report or in the video that you're viewing at that moment. And what I will do is go ahead and click on the forums, and then look for the forums that I like, that I have interest in. One of them would be the Euro Dollar forum, and this, again, it's really up to each individual trader as to exactly how they want to use the forum. Personally, what I like to do, the first thing I do is I'll go to the Euro Dollar thread, I'll go and click on the latest post, And what I'll do here is, and again, I just want to, really emphasize this point. It depends on your exact mindset when you're viewing. And me as a trader, I have some experience. So what I do and how I personally use the forum is I go through and I'll read what people are saying about the euro, what their trade ideas are. I certainly, try to maintain my own individual objectivity, and I really don't pay much attention to what other traders are saying in terms of my trading. I'm not going to certainly see something on a forum and then go jump into a trade. But what it will do, it will open my eyes to certain trading opportunities, maybe a certain line or a certain time frame that I haven't looked at before. So that's one way that I personally like to utilize the DailyFX forum. But certainly for newer traders, there are plenty of topics that you can go over. Let's say you might not be well versed in terms of certain currency pairs that you want to learn about. Scalping, you might not know what Elliott wave is. You can go ahead and click there and see exactly what you can, what you can understand, what you might not understand, and then certainly feel free to ask questions about any of these topics that you have. Maybe the carry trade, maybe you have some questions about that, or the sentiment, the SSI, or the latest economic news, FX programmers, the webinars, MT4. Any questions about active trader, you can go ahead and click on those threads. So again, it's very free, very open, and there is a wealth of information here and just waiting for to be utilized. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thank you for listening.